Hello, guys. Thank you so much for coming over here. Are you enjoying yourselves so far? It's good, isn't it? Don't you think it's got a really nice vibe here? It is, isn't it? Well, thank you for coming and enjoying the very comfortable benches we have here for you. The next guest we have, oh my goodness, I just went over to their stand. It's the Perfect Planner Company. They're just over there. So when you have finished listening to our guest, do go and have a look at all the stationery they have, because it's one of those things that actually I get so excited about. But also from a practical point of view, I am a list maker. I'm a to-do list maker. I have to write out my goals. I mean, I'm a life coach, so it's really important that I make sure my clients do as well. So something like this, where you actually have this beautiful planner that actually makes you feel good before you even write down your list or your gratitude list or whatever it is that you're working towards, just makes all the difference. I don't care what anyone says, it definitely makes a difference. So I'm very excited for our next guest, Monique Svensson, who is the CEO and founder of the Perfect Planner Company. It's an award-winning company that has been featured on the BBC and Telegraph, Daily Telegraph, and oodles of other places as well. And they're helping thousands of business owners, families, but of course individuals as well, to really get organised with their lives, but in a really lovely way. So I'd like to welcome onto the stage Monique Svensson. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Thank you. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you. So here we are, clean and tidy. Everyone having a lovely show so far? Fabulous, thank you. So, welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about how to set your goals and make them happen. So just before I get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, but my background and how I came to do this, because it will all make sense. But I'd just love to know, first of all, does anybody here actually set goals for themselves? Do you have targets, goals, resolutions? Yes, so resolutions, there you go. We set resolutions for ourselves. It's something that we do at the beginning of the year. Most of us go out there, right, this is it. I'm going to set these amazing goals for ourselves. And I'm probably willing to bet that by sort of the middle of January, most of you have gone, yeah, you're laughing. Yeah, you've fallen off the wagon, right? So by activating some of the tips that I'm going to talk about today, then I'm hoping that we can go beyond week 2 of January. Okay, clicker malfunction. Hello. Mr. Technician. Hello, my clicker's not working. And there we go. Now we've gone, can I go backwards? Okay. It works slower than my brain. Okay, so a little bit about me, first of all. As Georgina so lovely said, my name's Monique. I'm a mum. I've got 2 young girls, 11 and 7, that keep me very, very active. I am the CEO and founder of Perfect Planner Company, and you can find us over there. But I have a background of 25 years working in the theatre and the events industry. I was a stage manager working on some major shows in the West End, such as High School Musical, Chorus Line, We Will Rock You, and Warhorse. And that job had to make me super organised. I had to be. I was behind the scenes. I was looking after the company quite often of 100 plus people. And everything that we did had to be done, to the millisecond, because if you go over, the show runs late, the show doesn't go up on time, things can happen, and also producers get stung for huge overtime bills. So we always had to make sure that everything was organised to an absolute T. So when I found Perfect Planner Company and when I created it, I knew that there was a need. I was a mum. I didn't want to be working in the theatre anymore. I didn't want to be doing those sorts of hours. I was a mum, and there was a need for people who were in the same boat like me to get organised. And not just in business or work, but in our life and in our home. I knew as a mum I had to be doing that, and I could have done it in the theatre with my eyes closed, yet put a baby in front of me and I didn't have a clue what I was doing all of a sudden. And I don't know if anybody else can relate to that, but all of a sudden a child comes into your life and it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. So Perfect Planner Company came about as a need that I wanted fulfilling, and I realised that there were other people out there in a similar boat. By creating that business, I had to set a series of goals to make sure that that business actually happened. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. Maybe. There we go. Right, so why is planning goals so important? We all need things. We all need targets. We all need something to work towards. It gives us a purpose, gives us a reason to wake up in the morning. We don't want to feel like we're winging it on a day-to-day basis. In reality, probably so many of us are, but we don't want to feel like that. We actually want to feel that we get up and we can work towards something, whether that's your health and your well-being, whether it's cooking healthy meals, whether it's you want to run a marathon, you want to get fit. The list could go on, whether you want to clean your house and you want it to sort of hinge your home. If that is your goal, then that's amazing too. But sometimes these goals can feel so far out of reach for us, they can feel overwhelming. And I promise you, you are not on your own, because we all feel like that when we start things, when we start a goal. If you suddenly say, I want to run the marathon, that must feel, I should say, I have no intention of running a marathon ever. I'm the most unlikely person to ever do that. I can barely run a mile. But that must feel so out of reach and so overwhelming. But taking a series of small steps by training, I'm going to run for 1 minute, walk for a minute, run for a minute, walk for a minute. All of a sudden, that just grows and we get more and more confident and we can build on all of those things. So it's so important when you are setting goals, when you're setting resolutions, targets, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. It's important to plan. And that's why I'm really looking forward to this talk. Okay. This is a saying that I absolutely love. I heard it about, 6 years ago. And it's to plan for the time that you have, not the time you wish you had. Because we all say it. I mean, I've had so many people come over to our stand already and say, oh, this is great, but can you give me more hours in a day? We can't. We have the same amount of hours. I am going to talk about that in a little moment. But I want you to think about this. It's so true, to plan for the time that you actually have. Because I promise you, if you plan less into your day, if we don't set for ourselves these targets that are just so huge, and we actually tackle smaller things, we're actually going to feel much more accomplished. We're going to feel like we achieve so much more. Because if we actually plan in the time that we have, we do small things, we can tick them off, and we all love ticking things off. Any tickers here? Yeah, look at that. Yeah, we all love ticking off. Sometimes I write things out, even if I know I've done it, just so I can still tick it off. It's great. But we can tick those things off, and we feel good. We feel accomplished. And it gives us drive, and it gives us purpose, and then we can move forward to the next day, and we can take other steps as we move forward, and we feel good. And that's what we want. We want to feel good. We want to release all those happy hormones, and we want to feel good. So I want you to remember that, to plan for the time that you have, not the time that you wish you had. I wish I had more time on this stage. It's taking ages. Okay, let's talk about setting goals. A small little geeky fact for you all here. 42% of people who write their goals down will actually achieve them. 42% of people. Who here, when you come to the new year and you set your resolutions, who writes them down? 1, 2. There we go, another one there. You write them down. But look at all these people here that don't write them down. Are you the people that maybe fall off the wagon, sort of middle of the month? Writing your goals down is so imperative. And like I say, 42%, but we could, if more of us wrote things down, if more of us sort of became at one at writing this goal down. I've heard people talk about writing your goals down every single day. If you write your goals down every single day, they're there. You're telling yourself, I am going to achieve this. And for some, as I said, you might be running the marathon. For some, it might be as simple as getting up in the morning, getting to the dishwasher and unloading the dishwasher. That's all you want to achieve in any one day, because we all have different things going on in our lives. Success means completely different things to each of us. It's a completely impartial thing. So by writing it down, you are far more likely, 42% more likely to achieve that goal. And of course, if you can write it down on something beautiful, it's going to make you feel a lot better. Why is this not moving? There we go. Okay. So sometimes, as I've just touched on, that reaching those goals can feel impossible. But I will say to you, if you really, really want to achieve that goal, and you've got to really want to achieve it, we can all say these things. Yeah, I'd love to run a marathon. I can say, yeah, I'd love to run a marathon. The idea of it is amazing. It doesn't mean, for me, personally, that's not my goal. So it doesn't mean anything to me. It's not here. It's not ingrained in me. I don't wake up in the morning and think and dream about that. I dream about other things. Goals that I'm going to achieve with my family, with my kids. I visualize these goals. I can see them. I can feel them. I can touch them. And then when I know that these goals are real and they genuinely mean something to me, I'm going to achieve them. If it's something that's like, yeah, I'm going to do that, I'm not going to do it. So when you think about, when you set goals and you set targets for yourself, I want to ask you, does it really, really mean something? Does it make your heart sing? Do you think, yeah, I'm going to do this? And you can see what life will be like if you achieve that goal. And as I said, you can have extremes. In business, people talk about, I want to make 5,000 a month, I want to make 10,000 a month. And that's their goal. For others, it might be getting up in the morning, I'm going to get myself dressed and I'm going to get myself out of the house. And if that is your goal and you can picture yourself getting out that front door and walking down the road, that means just as much to anybody that sets these larger goals. It's the same. You have to take the actionable steps. And what I mean by that is breaking it down. Breaking it down from something really big and what feels unobtainable to something really, really small. Just a small step. And you might not know how to do that, but if you have a think, you've got a goal and it might take you 6 months to get to that point. I'm going to use the marathon example again. People maybe start training. I know this is my sister. She ran the marathon in April. She started her training in December. She said to me, I have no idea how on earth I'm going to do this. But she did. One day in December, she got her running shoes on and she went out and she was out for 5 minutes. By April, she was running 26 miles because she broke it down. She created a plan. How am I going to do this? What steps do I need to take? Okay, and she worked backwards. And that's what you do with goal setting. You work backwards. You look at the end point. I want to get here by April. Okay, so on this date, I need to have been able to run 20 miles. What do I need to do to run 20 miles? What do I need to do? What level of training do I need to do to be able to run 15 miles? And so forth and so forth. And what level of training do I need to be able to do just to run for 60 seconds? And bit by bit by bit, you can build this up and you can create these amazing goals for yourself in your business, in your life, in your home. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. Break it down and create those steps. Now, something else that I would love you to do is to review and reflect, because you have to ask yourself, is this going well for me? Am I on track? So every now and then, in business we do it every single month, we review what went well. I look at my sales. Did sales go well for me? Did this work? Did that social media campaign work? But you can apply this to any area of your life. You can apply it to your health and well-being. Meals. I want to cook healthy meals, fresh meals. Look back at the end of the week. Did I do that? Or actually, did I slip and I bought the takeaways? Just ask yourself these questions. Did it work for me? If it didn't, fine. What can I do to make sure that I change something so that I can still go out there and achieve that goal? Review, reflect. It's a massive, massive part of it. And finally, when it comes to this, setting these particular goals for yourself, is to celebrate. Does anybody here celebrate their wins? Yes. And what do you do? Yeah, exactly. I'm a fan of a treatment. That's the sort of thing I love to do, or go out for a nice meal, whatever it might be. You know, it might just be, do you know what? I'm going to sit there and I'm going to switch off and I'm going to watch Netflix for the evening, and nobody's going to disturb me because it's my time. And we're going to talk a little bit in a moment about boundaries, because that's so important when it comes to setting and achieving your goals. But I want you to celebrate your wins. I want you to sort of congratulate yourself. I did this. I went out there and I ran for 5 minutes this week. That's what I was going to do. That was the target I set for myself. That is going to lead me towards my bigger goal of running this marathon. And do you know what? High five to me. I'm proud of myself. So celebrate those wins along the way. I want to just tell you a little bit about a goal that I had, just to show that anything is possible, because I think if you can dream it, you can believe it. I promise you, you can achieve it. So one of the goals I had, now we're a company, we've been 6 years running, and I started out, put it out there to the world of social media. I was like, guys, I've created this planner. Oh my God, expected everybody wanted it. I think I had about 2 sales on launch night. Hugely disappointing. And I was like, oh dear, okay, right, we need to build this up. We need to do something a bit better here. And bit by bit by bit, over the 6 years, we have scaled our business. We now sell all over the world. But the particular thing that I want to talk about here is that at the beginning of this year in January, I sat down and I set my goals for myself and our business. Right, what are we going to achieve this year? And I said, you know what, we've been in the online space for X amount of time. We're going to go retail. That's what I want this year. I want us to be in retail. This banner that you can see was for a well-known stationery brand. And last week, we were on their header as one of their suppliers. So where are we now? We're in October. It's taken that amount of time, but we took those steps and we got there. And I'm, celebrating our wins for that. So it doesn't matter whether your goal is big, small. If you have a plan, you can achieve your goal. Every goal needs a plan. Okay, brain dumping. This will help you in your goal setting process because it can feel hugely overwhelming when we set these goals for ourselves. But I love a good brain dump. And what I mean by that is emptying what is in your head. We all carry mental clutter. We all walk around our homes, right? And we go, oh God, that's getting on my nerves. I must do something about that cupboard. That's driving me mad. Well, you're probably in the perfect place right now if you do feel like that. But we all do it. We walk around our home and you think, God, that box is getting on my nerves. I know that in my house there's boxes and they've got to go into the loft, and every time I walk past them I think, oh, must put that in the loft. And we carry all of this clutter with us all the time in our mind, which means that we're not actually focusing on the thing that we want to focus on, which is getting our goals, achieving our goals, whatever they might be. So brain dumping is an excellent way of clearing your head of all of this stuff that is bubbling up inside you. One of the things that you can do, it's really simple, grab a piece of paper. And I do this probably about once a month. I walk around, piece of paper, right, and walk into that room, Yeah, that piece of paper doesn't need to be there. Get rid of it, chuck it, declutter it, file it, whatever needs to happen. And I do that with every room in our home, because inevitably things build up and you think, oh, I'll tackle that later. And bit by bit by bit, I can look at that list and I can say, what's important? What actually on this list is important? If it's not, get rid of it. All of a sudden, you're not thinking about it anymore because you've got rid of it, you've looked at it, you've processed it, you've got rid of it, chucked it out. I don't need that anymore. If there is something on there that's really pressing and it's really urgent, find the time and get it done. I know that sounds simple, but make the time. We have to do it, right? If it's getting on your nerves and it's bothering you and it's holding you back in other areas of your life, get it done. So brain dumping is great because it can help you prioritize, and it can also help you to see what is important in your life and what's not. And again, those importance carry so many different things to us. So when you've done this list, I'm going to think about prioritizing, and we just touched on that. What actually is important to you? I feel like I'm holding remote control, the telly. Thank you. So if you still feel overwhelmed when you do this brain dump and you look at this list, because sometimes I do it, certainly like the beginning of the year, I'm like, oh Christ, there's another piece of paper, and another piece of paper, and I might as well just have a clipboard and sort of be flicking through. But it does help me to see what actually really is truly important and what I can just scrape off. Do you know what? If I don't move this drawer around and put it here, is it going to make any difference to my life right now? No, it's not. It's not going to help me because I need to prioritize and put my time into something else. I need to put my time into my kids, or I need to put my time into my family, or I need to put my time into my business. Or actually, instead of doing that, I could go to the gym. I could get off my backside and go to the gym. So you kind of have to work out what is important to you and how that ties in with the goals that you actually want to set for yourself. So break it down. Look at that list, break it down. And decide what is your main focus. What is the thing that you want to focus on? It's probably the goal that you set for yourself. And you know, we can have multiple goals as well. It doesn't just have to be one. We can have many, many things that we want to achieve. So planning our time is crucial. Who feels that they don't have enough time in the day? Who said, oh, I wish I had more than 24 hours. Now, one of the things that I go to, I hear a lot of sort of motivational speakers and talkers, talks, and they all say, we've all got the same 24 hours in the day. Think about Beyonce, right? We've all got the same 24 hours as Beyonce. That's totally unrealistic, right? Beyonce has an entourage, she's got crew, she's got people, she's got loads of hours. She just has to get ready and show up. For the majority of us real folk, we're not Beyonce. We do have the same 24 hours in a day, though, that we do need to manage our time. And we find, I know I do, so many people I speak to and so many of the clients and people that I work with, we're time wasters. Who's guilty? Pick up the phone, scroll. There I am on Instagram, Facebook. I lose hours. Oh, God. So I haven't done the thing that I wanted to do that was going to help me to achieve my goals. But what about if you started to time block? What about if you actually started to plan for the time that you have? What about if you looked at your daily schedule and you put in, make appointments with yourself? This time is family time. That's how I start. Right, what's important? What have I got to do with the kids? How have I got to sort myself out? How is this going to happen? Block that time out, mark it out, use highlighters, coloured pens, whatever gets you excited. But mark out that time. Next, what's important? For me, one of my goals is around my health and well-being. I've been guilty of not looking after myself, not going to the gym, not doing the things that I want to do. Mark it in. Make it an appointment. You'd show up for an appointment, right? If you were paying for something, you'd show up for it. So why do we, when it comes to setting our goals, when it comes to setting the thing that means so much to us, the thing that we want to achieve, the thing that we're going to feel so proud of ourselves if we achieve that, Why do we put it to the side? Put it in your diary. Put it in your organiser. Put it in your digital calendar. Of course, I would say put it in your perfect planner, but you don't all have to do that. Write it down on a whiteboard in the kitchen, whatever, so you see it, but plan your time. Know how you're going to organise your time. And you know what? If you're a scroller on social media and you love to do that, mark it out. At 8 o'clock, I'm going to give myself an hour. I'm going to sit there and scroll. Because why not? We all need that time. We all want the time to watch Netflix. We all want balance in our lives. But we want time with our kids. We want time with our friends. We want social time. We want all of those things. So mark it out. And you'll be amazed when you actually start to mark it out. Actually, I have got a little bit more time here. And then if you've got extra time, you can do something lovely for yourself. Or maybe tackle some of those things that you had on that brain dump list. Some of those things that you'd got out of your head, you'd release that sort of mental clutter. Now you can go back to that list. Do you know what? Because I haven't wasted my time, because I've protected my time, I've looked after the time that I've got a little bit of time to do and tackle some of those things that were really bugging me, and I'm going to get them done. Just finally, I just wanted to touch on boundaries and distractions. Distractions being one of the things that I've just spoken about is social media, some of the thing that can just, it's a time zapper, and we're all guilty, I know, me included. But boundaries as well. Boundaries are really, really important to set. So if there is something that you really want to achieve, talk to the people around you. Talk to your family. Do you know what? Partner, I really want to go to the gym. It's really important to me that I get fit and healthy. It's really important that I do that. Can we work something out in our schedule that I can go to the gym for three times a week and I can have 3 hours? Set those boundaries in place so that you get rid of the guilt, because that's something that we carry so much, is we carry this guilt. I want to get this done, but I feel guilty to everybody else around me. I feel like I should be doing this. I feel like I should be doing that. I feel like I should spend time with them. I feel like I should see that person. But do you know what? It's okay to be a bit selfish sometimes. It's okay to go out there and achieve the things that we want to do. It's about balance. But have those conversations with people around you. Set the boundaries in place. If it's business, you know, I have to set those boundaries in my business with my kids. You know, mummy's on a call right now, kids. You cannot come in. You cannot come in. During the pandemic, who loved that bit of homeschooling? Ooh, never want to have to do that again. But I had to put the boundaries in place. At one point, there was a sign on our door. If you want a snack, go and collect a piece of fruit from the fridge, I'm working. You know, you have to just kind of put that in place with people around you, whether it's colleagues. Do you know what? You're going into work today and you know you want to get something done, but then so-and-so comes over. Hi, how was your weekend? And you find that you're chatting at your desk and all of a sudden you're not getting anything done. Put the boundaries in place. I know it might feel a bit weird. You know, you don't literally want to put a sign that says, I will be available for socialising between the hours of 12 and 1. But you know, it's just about having those conversations, because if something is important to you, something means that much to you, you've got to find a way to do it, and you've got to find a way to build it into your schedule, because that's how you're going to achieve your goals. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions. I don't know if anybody wants to ask anything.
I've got a mic here, so I'm going to go round. Any questions for Monique? Oh, here we go. Ooh. Here we go. She's won my sports bra today.
Hi, I'm Amy. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Amy.
I was thinking about what you said about boundaries, and I wanted to ask, you know, the job I work at, I'm a receptionist, so obviously people love talking to me, and I love talking to them. But how do I set boundaries at work sometimes? You know, like how do you protect your time and get things done? People will talk to me for hours and not let me get a word in edgeways.
I think the thing is, if you give off that vibe, you know, welcome, come chat, which is great because you want to be personable, you want to talk. But you can also, there is no harm in you saying, guys, I've got a job to do. I've got to get this done. do you mind? I'm going to get this done, and why don't we chat this afternoon? And then you can invite them back and say, come and chat to me in the afternoon. And for you, I know that'll probably, you'll be like this, oh God, I feel a bit sick saying that. But it's okay to say that, because at the end of the day, your employer is expecting you to do a job. You don't want to lose that job. You want to keep it. And so you've got to go out, you've got to sort of almost be bold enough to say, here's my boundaries, this is what I'm going to set in place. But come back and chat to me. And bit by bit, you'll find the more times you say that, and actually when you've got a bit of free time, hey, what was it, what did you want to chat about? Or, whatever the gossip was that you were doing at that time. But, welcome them back when it suits you. But you'll find the more times that you put that boundary in place, they'll go, do you know what, I'm not going to come and talk to Amy right now because I know she's doing the activities and the things that she needs to in her job, and I'll come back in the afternoon. And they'll accept it, because once you set that precedent, they'll be back. They'll know. And it's just about, essentially, think of it as training people around you and just setting the expectations, managing those expectations. Hope that helps.
Any more questions? Oh, over here. Hang on. I'm going to climb through. No, don't worry. It's good for me. I'm not going to get to the gym today, so there you go.
Is that your goal?
Hi.
Hiya.
That's a really excellent talk.
Thank you.
I just wanted to know what to do when you've set a goal, and then if you have a bereavement or a relationship breakup or some major event that completely throws you off, what should you do, and how do you ever get back on track again?
I always say, change the plan, but never the goal. And sometimes we have to move those posts. Things happen. Things happen in our life. A global pandemic, who screwed, things up for so many of us. And, we have to deal with everyday life. I was preparing this presentation. My daughter comes down, Mum, I'm feeling a bit hot. Next thing I know, I'm in A&E with her. 2 nights ago, I thought, oh God, am I actually going to be here? She was really unwell. Things happen. So we have to be realistic about that. But if you want to achieve that goal, you will do it. It might just be a little bit later on. And it's no harm in changing the plan. Or spread it out. Or say, do you know what? I need to focus. There's stuff going on in my life right now. I need to focus on that. I'm going to come back to it. And I promise you, if it's something that you desperately want to achieve, you will do it. You will find a way. And it's okay. Don't feel guilty. If you have to move it, that's life. It's life.
That's such a great point about not feeling guilty. We're terrible, aren't we? Awful at that. Right, any more questions at all? Around. I've got a question.
Go on.
Because, as I said before, I love my to-do lists, and I can't actually cope with a day if I haven't done that. Would you say it's better to do a to-do list, journaling, in the evening, in the morning, or at another time of day?
I would say it's entirely down to the individual, what suits them. I almost have a 2-pronged attack. I have to do my to-do list at night. Funny enough, one of our new products it's called my bedside book of gratitude and goals, because I go to bed at night and I think, I've got this stuff running around my head, and then I don't sleep properly because I'm thinking about it. So I like to do it at night. I write it all down, what I'm going to do the next day, and then in the morning, that's a great time to journal. It's a great time to sort of sit there and reflect. I get up before the rest of the house. I am inevitably the first one awake in our house all the time. And that is my time. I'm a creature of habit. I'll get up, I'll make my cup of tea, and I will sit down. And that is my time, and whether it's journaling or looking at what's coming up for the day, but I already know what I need to attack. I don't like to go to bed with all this stuff going around my head because I like to sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't like sleep?
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Oh, got one at the front here.
Oh, well done.
I'm quite an organised person, and I do use lists.
Organised or unorganised?
Organised.
Right, sorry.
And I do use lists and things, but I think sometimes it can make you a bit rigid
Yeah.
in what you're trying to do, like you're planning your menus, you're planning your week, your to-do list. And I think sometimes I find that I need to think I've got so much stuff going on. There might only be small things, but because it's a big list,
Yeah.
it can look a bit overwhelming. So sometimes I sit down and think, okay, well, what can I take out, like the prioritisation?
Yeah.
But I also find with myself, one of my weaknesses is I don't sit down and just imagine.
Yeah.
Almost my to-do list becomes my goal,
Yeah.
you see what I mean? As opposed to looking a bit further ahead and sort of thinking, okay, where am I really going? What do I want to achieve? You know, which relationship do I want to develop, etc. I
Yeah.
think it makes me a bit rigid. So I don't know if you've got any suggestions.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because it does. You do feel like you write that list and you're like, I need to get that done. And then you desperately want to stick to it. I'm exactly like you. I like to get it done and I want to stick to it because I want to tick it off. But as we were just saying, you know, inevitably things do crop up. So there's a book that would be great for you. It's called Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. And it's about sort of essentially, I don't know why eat the frog. Who'd want to eat a frog, right? But it's about tackling the most important task first. So if you just do that, do nothing else, because at least you'll feel accomplished by just doing that, and everything else can maybe wait. And then when it comes to sort of setting bigger dreams for yourself, why not, I don't know what you do and I don't know how much time you have, but a great thing to do is to allow yourself an hour. I'm going to take an hour out, set the boundaries, talk to people around you. I'm going to go out and I'm going to have that hour. Go somewhere that inspires you, you know, whether it's a coffee shop or, you know, on nice surroundings, beach, river, wherever near you are, where you are. And just sit there with a coffee, with a journal, and just allow yourself to dream. Allow the thoughts just to run. And at first, that will feel really, really difficult. You think, you'll just sit there and you're like, I'm supposed to be doing something. But bit by bit by bit, these thoughts will run. And you can then start to decipher what means something to you, where you want to develop, as you said, relationships, friendships, health, fitness, whatever it might be. You can allow that to expand, and then that can kind of filter into your goals and sort of how you then structure your life and your day, because you'll know what's important to you. Actually, if it is nurturing a particular relationship, your goal could be, I'm going to make sure I see that person once a month. You know, again, we're all guilty of it. We've got friends, oh yeah, we must get in touch, must see each other, and then we don't. So if that actually is very, very important to you, then make a plan. Make a plan to do that and let some of that other stuff go. Some of the stuff that actually isn't so important. Eat the frog.
I think we need to let Monique go. I mean, my goodness, how amazing. What she hasn't got is any of the books here. They're all over at the stand there. Trust me, they are beautiful. I mean, they're very practical, but they're beautiful. They're touchy-feely. They're gorgeous. And I tell you now, doing this kind of thing will change your life. If you don't do it at the moment, it will change your life.
It will.
Because when I started, everything changed. So
yeah.
Thank you so much, Monique.
Thank you so
from
much.
Perfect Planner Company.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we're all about tidying up our lives here, aren't we? But what is the difference between decluttering, organising, and all that kind of thing? Well, later on, we're going to be talking about that a little bit as well. We have Ingrid and Leslie from the Declutter Hub podcast, actually in just a few minutes, because we're all finding that so fascinating that that's gone on for quite a long time. So thank you guys for being here. Are we all happy? Yeah? Good. You all look very happy. I'm absolutely loving the vibe here today. I think it's so lovely. So I'll be back in a minute to invite Leslie and Ingrid onto the stage.